The last thing that we really need to take a look at is how to evaluate functions. And the nice part about this, if they understand everything else, this is not going to be super difficult. This is order of operations written in a fancier way. So evaluating functions, the biggest thing here for me, for my students, is understanding that it doesn't have to be F. It can be G, it can be H, and once they understand that, that's just so that we don't have to write it out longhand. Once they understand that it's a shortcut and we just use the different letters for different expressions that we're looking at, they really don't have a hard time with that. If you always use f of x and then all of a sudden the worksheet uses g of x or whatever, then they get really stumped on it. The one thing I really like to do is connect it to order of operations, and that's a horrible screenshot. Sorry about that. But I found this worksheet, and it's just a basic order of operations worksheet that they've been seeing for years now. They've seen this since middle school, early middle school, if not the end of elementary. And so if they could, if they can connect that, then they're going to be doing really well to understand that the function's just going to ask them to do that one last step of inputting that x value. And so most of my students do really well once they understand the rest of everything we've talked about in this last step. So here's one that we talked about earlier where they just need to plug it in. Obviously this is harder than middle school, but 2 times 1/2 is 1, plus 3 is 4, the square root of 4 is 2, and then we plug that in divided by -2, so we get that -1. So yes, it's got the fractions, the square root, and the negatives that we don't want them to mess up, but it's that order of operations. And so helping students connect that will really add up a lot.